Successful concessionaire and members of the Ministry of Work, they were engaging right now so that we'll be able to reach early financial close. And at the same time, we're also preparing for the commencement of early work on the second Niger Bridge. Things are moving on well. In fact, the PPP desk in the Ministry of Finance is also part of this particular ongoing engagement. And we are hopeful that very quickly we will be able to achieve financial close on that particular transaction. But more importantly, as soon as the early work which has commenced pick up, Nigerians will see physical manifestation of the commencement of that project, which will be posted by drilling on the river.
What timeline are you working with for the completion of this bridge?
Guideline?
Timeline.
Okay, timeline. Okay, in terms of timeline, we intend that this bridge will be completed in 3 years. Don't forget that when this bridge came in, the government, committed to building 2 new bridges in the country, one across River Niger, the other across River Benue. The one across River Benue at Oweto was awarded in November 2011. Work has started as we speak. About 105 piles have been drilled. In fact, the structural elements, many of them have sprung out from under the water. In fact, we inspected the project recently, and work is going on there. The same thing will happen in terms of the second Niger Bridge. And both bridges, we estimate that in 3 years they will be completed.
Okay, I was going to say, it's not all of the time you get all of this, but from Nigerians, if you go to our Twitter handle, you get to say this. But I have to read this to you, Honorable Minister, before you go. This is from Osato. He says, I want to use this opportunity to thank the Ministry of Works. The last time he passed through that particular road coming to Lagos, he spent just 4 hours as against the number of hours. So that answered the question what we asked you a little earlier, but people were actually looking for the time frame. But going to other parts, as you rightly said, it is not only the Lagos axis or the road leading to Benin we are on this program. What about, the Lokoja axis of the road in the country, perhaps some other roads in the northern part of the country? You want to tell us what your ministry is doing on those roads?
Yeah, first, first of all, on the dualization of Abuja-Lokoja Road, work is ongoing. As we speak, as at date, we have reached between 65 to 69% completion in most of the sessions, because we have about 4 sessions where we have ongoing work right now. But I want to assure that on Abuja-Lokoja, in fact, we are upbeat that by the end of the first quarter of 2014, the entire alignment will be commissioned. Because going by our time frame and the resources we have deployed to that particular project. Already we have completed the interchange in Giri. We have also the flyover in Gwagwalada separating traffic. That is almost done. And a major part of the alignment has been achieved. So we are upbeat that by the first quarter of 2014, latest by March 2014, we'll be delivering that road. The other one, the dualization of Kano-Meduguri Road, which is the longest ongoing dualization the ministry is embarking upon right now, because it covers a distance of about 518 kilometers. Work had also peaked, and generally, work had reached about 50% completion in most of the 5 sessions on that particular alignment, despite the security challenges in the northeastern part of the country. And that project too, we are looking at a completion time frame of December 2040 to also deliver that important project. And there are quite a number of other projects we are working on, but these are the flagships.
Are our roads insured?
Sorry, come again.
Do we have insurance for our roads?
Suleiman, I must be frank with you. It is one area we have been looking at, because as of today, our roads are not insured. That is the truth of the matter.
So what would it take to have our roads insured?
Well, the issue, if you ask me, well, we are looking at the details. Even recently, we had to engage an insurance consultant to advise us on the insurable assets of the Federal Ministry of Works. And we do know that our road asset is in excess of about 5 trillion naira. And it's a major national asset. And now we are beginning to see our road as national assets. So the issue of insurance is coming in. We are looking at it, and at the appropriate time we'll come out with a template on dealing with that.
Well, time and again, we get to hear local contractors, engineers complain that the Ministry of Works neglects them, not giving them jobs, preferring to give foreign contractors. Is this the case?
Chamberlain, well, let me say that local contractors have never been patronized in this country the way this present administration is patronizing local contractors. And we have quite a number of them that are doing well. Like most Nigeria Limited is a local contractor and is able to compete with a multinational. And you have quite a number of them. But what we have done as an administration, particularly under the ongoing 2013 procurement, Category C projects are strictly reserved for Nigerian contractors in order to help them build up their turnover base so that they can also qualify for higher categories in the next few years. That is one of the deliberate decisions of this administration to help build local capacity in the construction industry.
Okay, well, in addition to that, because sometimes also we hear state governors complain that the federal government usually neglects roads belonging to them, and sometimes when they fix these roads, it's always a challenge getting their monies back from the government. Why is this the case, if it is so?
Chairman, yes, it is true that the federal government will not be able to rehabilitate the entire 35,000 kilometers of roads crisscrossing the length and breadth of this country. But what is important is that there is a guideline that was approved for state intervention on federal roads. This guideline was approved under the leadership of our late President Yar'Adua. And the guidelines are very clear. If any state government intends to have reform on any of the roads they have intervened on behalf of the federal government, the guideline is clear. All they need to do is to stick to those guidelines and they will qualify for reform. Otherwise, you will have a situation where a landlord gives his house, if you like, to a tenant, and the tenant on his own decided to just move in, renovate it according to his preferences at his own cost without the input of the landlord. And at the end of the day, the landlord visits his property and a bill of about 2 billion is slammed on the landlord. Obviously, that is not the right thing to do. That is why the wisdom of late President Yar'Adua, that guideline was put in place, and states who stick to those guidelines, at the end of the day, they get reformed. This year alone, we have budgeted, and as part of 2013 budget, we have about 20 billion for reforms to most states that comply with the guideline. And by next year, the same thing will happen, and it's a yearly affair. But what is important is that you stick to the guideline. But if you do it outside of the guideline, not in accordance, for instance, if you want to award such a contract, if it is not in accordance with the Public Procurement Act, public funds cannot be spent on it. So these are the issues.
Well, anyway, I think we'll go back to the roads in the northeast of the country. But very quickly, you know, legacy left by you is very important here. All of this massive construction going on in terms of road and some other infrastructure development in the country, are you bothered about how they can last the tests of time, knowing full well that some of the roads fixed in the 70s and 80s are still very much motorable in some parts of the country? Do you worry about what the contractor gives?
Suleiman, I worry about what the point you just raised. Yes, very often people refer to what happened on the road 20 years ago, 25 years ago. But I want you to know that as at 1983, or by 1983, we had only about 150,000 vehicles plying Nigeria roads. And at the same time, the railways were in top shape. They were moving goods from the north to the south. By 2012, the number of vehicles on Nigeria roads has risen to about 9 million. And at that time, the rail transportation had collapsed. So enormous pressure came on the road, and most of the road buckled under excessive axle loading. because Nigerians do not obey ASO loading restrictions in this part of the world, and it is always strange. It is very strange, but again, you